Welcome back to another episode of the Universal Voice. And look, this one is a little personal to me because this is not something that I thought that I'll be talking about so early in a season. But it is what it is, and I'm joined by a few lovely gentlemen over here, and that's Sam, David, and Ahmed. How are you guys doing?
Fine, thanks.
Yeah, I'm doing very well, Price. Thank you.
Doing well, mate.
So we have a face today, and that is Ahmed. I'm so happy that you could be a part of this as well, and it's lovely to see that the community, the pace that we've putting in together is growing, and that was the whole point of it. Like, I just wanted to sit and talk to people who basically share the same love as me for Manchester United, and I'm really happy that we can actually go ahead with this. All right, let's move into the matter right now, because I think this is the last point of this entire conversation. I'm going to be nice because this is a personal irk when it comes to me. This whole Ole Gunnar Solskjaer fiasco that goes around, and starting with the first thing that I want to ask you, your initial thoughts about the game that is gone, the Young Boys game, which is now, you've had like a couple of days to settle it into your heads. So who wants to go first? Like, go ahead, take a pick.
I leave Mohammed because he's new.
All right, Mohammed.
So, about the game, I don't think that the red card should be so critical that it completely just changes the game. If you had someone like a Pep or Tuchel, whoever, they would. I agree with the Sancho substitution completely. But if I was Oli, I would bring Gallo on and substitute Lindelof for Varane, and just keep a back four. There's no way if you keep a back five, you're just attracting pressure. You're just surrendering. You're just telling their manager you just want more pressure, and we never went for it. We played for the draw. We had 0 shots in the second half. It was just that one penalty shot that we had in the second half, and other than that, we were useless. We weren't even trying to hit on the break or anything.
Anyone wants to go next?
Yeah, no, to be honest, I completely agree with what you're saying. I mean, the first 30 minutes was quite exciting. Came out strong, controlled the ball, helped the possession. Obviously, Bruno had a lovely assist. Ronaldo had a goal. It was all good. And then Wan-Bissaka got taken off, and the dynamic just changed. Like, everything just changed. The lot came off for Sancho. I agree with what Mohammed said. I think Varane should have just switched with Lindelof. And then all of a sudden, it was like we were just letting them pressure us. For the whole game, they were just constantly pressuring us, constantly kept us in our half. And for a team around Manchester United, it doesn't matter if we're 10 men against Young Boys. Like, we should still be pressuring them. And then for Oli, and we're going to talk about this later, but for Oli to then take on Van der Beek when he's our best centre mid, better than Fred, and then takes off the best player in Champions League history later on in the game when we need a goal, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
David.
I've been having to think about this, and even though he is one of our most consistent players, I probably would have brought. Well, at first I was thinking Sancho was right for Dalot, and then at half time, instead of Donny going off, it should have been Pogba, because he was playing on the left wing. Sancho was obviously playing on the right, so take the left winger off, whoever it was. Unfortunately, that day was Pogba, and he was playing poor. Leave Donny on, leave Fred on, and maybe move Dalot and Shaw into wing-back positions where they can both play, and that provides the assist, because the problem was our midfield was outrun in the second half because we didn't have any wingers. If we'd had the wingers or wing backs, and we'd used them, then we could have done something. The only other option really would have been, instead of taking Donny off, to take Luke Shaw off and literally just play three central defenders, no winger, and leave Pogba and moving back into central midfield. But then I was also thinking take off Pogba afterwards for Greenwood and playing 2 up top. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. The substitutes were a bit, but the performance was much worse than and it doesn't matter. You can blame Solskjaer, but in my eyes, the players know what they've got to do on that pitch. And I'm sorry, the players have got to take the brunt of it. And I'm sorry, but a lot of people going out blaming Solskjaer and stuff, but they don't go out and blame the players. I mean, I can't really think of one player that actually did play decent on Tuesday night. I mean, Bruno got that beautiful assist, but other than that, the whole team was shit.
So, judging by the conversations that all three of you, the points that you guys have made, in all honesty, for me personally, it wouldn't have mattered much if he stayed in a back 4 or a back 5, as long as what the idea and the intentions that were put across were done correctly. Why I'm saying that is because imagine if he continued with the back 5, Lindelof, Maguire and Varane, 3 amazing centre backs, that's not an issue. The idea of it, having wing backs to create the width with Dalot and Shaw. If you think about it in that regards, then it's not bad at all. Like maybe he was expecting that we might be able to hold off the pressure coming in with an added extra centre back, because I think he mentioned in his post-match conference as well that their intentions of Young Boys was to put in the balls. And I think they subbed in their 6'4" striker, and the intention was clear to bombard them with balls in the center of a D-line, and which is exactly why he probably thought that we should go with that. And if you think about it logically, see, at the end of the day, things went to shit. They went to shit right from the time where Aaron Wan-Bissaka got red carded. Is there anyone over here who thinks that the game was out of our hands before that?
No.
We were in complete cruise control.
If anything, we were lucky not to get an earlier red card, if I'm truly honest.
Emma, you were saying something. Sorry.
Well, Donny van der Beek did that tackle. I'm not sure when it was.
No, that was
before
fine.
Wan-Bissaka.
It wasn't that bad a tackle.
I think he did get a yellow.
I
think he did get a yellow.
Yeah, he should have got a yellow. It was a typical Paul Pogba tackle. He's been watching Paul Pogba tackle, because seriously, that just he couldn't tackle. And if Donny had been booked in that situation, then yeah, I would have understood him going off at half time. But because he didn't,
no, we'll definitely come to that, David, because we are definitely not done with that. Emma, do you want to say something?
I just think that, I don't even think we were playing the best brand of football even before the red card. You saw Lindelof pass it to Maguire try a long ball towards Wan-Bissaka or something. It was just all like that. Just Bruno just came up with an Iniesta-esque pass, and that's how we got the goal. Before that, Lindelof, I don't think what Ole did with Lindelof by picking him was show sympathy. He didn't pick him because Varane needed a rest. Varane's been doing this for 10 years now. Like, a game on the weekend and a game in midweek. It didn't make sense to me why he has to be sympathetic towards players.
Sam, you wanted to say something?
I mean, the boys summarised it. I've summarised what I wanted to say quite well there. I was going to say something, but I've kind of forgotten my point I was going to say. It was actually a really valid point. It's actually really annoying that it's just left my thought process. Yeah.
Now, so the only thing I would like to add to that point is sometimes I agree with I understand and respect what you're saying, Ahmed, but at the end of the day, you also have to see the opposition that was playing against us. And it was a simple 4-4-2 with 2 banks of 4 sitting right behind, with the attackers also attached to them. So sometimes it does become a little difficult to penetrate through in that regards. Again, I'm not trying to stand up for Ole. He did make quite a few issues and mistakes in that game, especially I wouldn't have started Lindelof, and I have my doubts over a few substitutions as well. But so at the end of the day, David, coming to you, what Ahmed
Can
said.
I just add something?
Sorry.
Can I just add something to what Mohammed said?
Yeah, I'm just coming exactly for that. Yeah. Go for
Okay.
it.
He goes on about this has got nothing. No offense to you, Mohammed. Seriously, he goes on about we shouldn't have dropped Varane, and in fairness, he dropped Lindelof after the Leeds game, and Lindelof played fantastic that game. He had that beautiful assist. We had 5 assists that game, and Lindelof was the best. I don't think anybody can argue that. But I said that the Lindelof would start over Varane, and I don't think it's sympathy. But the one problem is last season, including myself, one of the problems that we had, and a lot of the fans were complaining about, was fatigue and Ole not resting the players. And it's going to be with Ronaldo. Ronaldo won't start next week's game in the League Cup. There's no way. And it's about resting the players when they need to. And Solskjaer looked at the team and he thought, okay, I can rest Varane, have him fit for West Ham, and maybe next Wednesday he'll play Varane and Lindelof together and rest Maguire for the League Cup. We don't know. But the one thing is, last season we were complaining. I mean, Bruno got outrun last season, so did Rashford, and they should have been rested. Problem is, we didn't have the players last season. This season, we do have the players. I mean, last season, it was Lindelof and Maguire. We didn't have another decent centre-back. We had Axel, we had Bailly, not really that good. I know Axel did well against PSG, but then he played and then he just didn't do well. Midfield, again, I think that's roughly the same because we haven't improved. Wingers, up top, we just didn't have anybody that could come off the bench last season and change the game. This season, we've got players that could come off the bench, change the game, and we can actually now rest some of our players. We can rest Bruno one game and play Pogba or Donny van de Beek at the number 10 position. We don't have to play the same players over and over and over again. We can rest them, and I just don't understand why last season people were complaining about him not resting players, and now people are complaining about him resting players. It's ludicrous.
I think at the end of the day, I think none of us over here is saying that Ole was flawless in that game. I'm pretty sure even David feels that. But at the end of the day, what I want to touch on right now and have a conversation with you guys is why is it that it's clear to see that, yes, there were issues in terms of the coaching staff, but let's not forget that the coaching staff did not ask Wan-Bissaka to go and get red carded. Let's not forget, no one asked Lingard to make that pass, which ultimately cost us 1 point. So my problem, and the only thing that I want to get across with you guys, is when there is a combination of errors coming in from the players and coaching as well, why is it that some of our fans are just there ready to jump on the coaching staff? What's the issue? Why do you think that's the case?
There isn't an issue. The simple issue, sorry Sam, the simple issue is most of these people that are coming out going Ole out, they're not true United fans, and I won't even call them fans. They're idiots and the dicks, and anybody who's coming out saying Ole out. I mean, I did a really strong video on Tuesday night about it, and then I did another one yesterday while I was in the bath, and I don't know if anyone saw it, but the thing is, people wasn't shouting Ole out after the Newcastle game. Why? Of course, we won. Simple as. So why is it we lost the Young Boys? Granted, we should have maybe beat them. Don't care what anyone says. On paper, we should. But we were down to 10 men. The players weren't playing that well themselves. And why is it now, after this game, Ole out, there's rumours about Conte coming in. It's I'm sorry, they're not true United fans. I respect you three who are going maybe Ole out, if Ole out, Ole in, but none of you are saying Ole out right now. And the people that I've spoke to are exactly the same. It's these fake fans that are saying Ole out because they don't bloody know what this club means. And I'm sorry,
No, that's totally your opinion, and I completely
And one
respect that. Sam, first you want to go, then Ahmed, you can take away from there.
So for me, I think the reason people are Ollie out is because things are lingering. You know, the Istanbul game last season, you know, everyone knows the game I'm talking about, where there was literally one defender back. That's lingering. You know, the final, the Europa League final is lingering. There are things that Ollie has done, previous mistakes, lineup choices, Fred constantly playing McFred, you know, not playing Donny. Now he loses to BSC Young Boys, you know, I don't know the beginning of their name, but Young Boys, yeah? And so all these things are adding up, and lots of fans just getting, excuse my language, completely pissed off, because it's like we finally got this, you know, rebuilt this team. You know, we've given him his 3 years like Klopp had, and now we're still losing to what? Like a team that any of the other top 4 teams, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, could beat with 10 men. So that's why people are giving Ollie the stick, because I personally, you know, I do agree with David. You know, we shouldn't just be Ollie out straight away. You know, we need to give Ollie time, finish the season. But that is why, because people are just frustrated and annoyed with how Ollie just keeps making mistakes when it matters.
Emma?
I mean, what Sam said, but I want to add, like, if Ollie, what the people who say Ollie out right now are blind. What they don't realize is if Conte comes in right now, Ollie has built this team. Conte has an ego, all right? I don't think Conte would be just like what Mourinho was to Pogba, or Ronaldo has such a big ego. Conte, everyone in front of Conte is lower than him. He said that himself. He's like Mourinho. And I don't think with this squad, Conte hasn't built it. I don't think he will gel well with it. Also with the board. He left Inter because of the board, because of the owners. I don't think Conte would work. And I think we need to give Ollie time. If I'm not wrong, in 2009 was it, we got knocked out of the UCL in the group stage. But nobody was going Fergie out. And I just think this is the last season. We should just see where we go with it. And I do think the next 3 weeks, the next month is really important for us to actually see where Ollie improves on the Young Boys game.
I think that's the most sensible way to look at it. And I think at the end of the day, all 4 of us are basically talking about, yes, go ahead, David.
I just wanted to correct Mohammed. It wasn't 2009 because that was the year we lost to Barcelona in the final.
No, the 2009 or 10 or 9 or 10.
Got you. Yeah, I think it was. But no, I do agree with him. It doesn't even have to be 11 years ago. All we have to do is go back to when Ferguson started. And I tell you what, if social media was around then, well, I mean,
we wouldn't have a legacy.
He didn't win the Premier.
Yeah, no, facts. He would have a legacy. You're right, bro.
I mean, I know, Ferg, before anyone's watching this going, I'm talking rubbish. Well, they can say that, I don't really mind. But Ferguson did win stuff at Aberdeen. He won the Cup Winners' Cup against Real Madrid. So he did have history where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't. But I'm sorry, I'm going to say this now. People say Solskjaer's never won anything. He won the Norwegian Premier League with Molde, and people will say the Norwegian League, big deal. I'm sorry. That was their first league title in 100 years. So, just out of interest, it may just be the Norwegian League, but for their first league title in 100 years, he must have done something fucking good. Seriously.
Won it back to back.
Yes. Yeah. So people are saying that, and then they're going on. He relegated Cardiff. He took over him in January, and to be honest, they were already relegated. They were like, I swear, they were like 15 points off relegation.
Emma and Sam would be too young to remember that Cardiff team, but David, I can back David on that. That team was absolutely shit. It was already going down. There was nothing that Ollie could have done to save their ass. It was as simple as that. So I'm so sorry. We are going to move into the next segment because, see, at the end of the day, I feel that because people don't want to go on the players because of certain elements of any fan group, not just our fan group, there is a certain element of racism that gets involved to it. So people are a little more fickle and a little more scared and worried about going in against the players. And I completely agree with that. I back that. But that doesn't mean just because you cannot go on the players, you go doubly hard on the coaching staff is all that I'm saying. Like, have that sense of respect and understanding that that there were issues with the game, and it wasn't just with the players, it was with the coaching staff as well. And guys, just to clear out a few things, because see, because like I said, this is my baby right now, and I was really passionate about this conversation. People are saying that, you know what, it doesn't matter if we went one man down in the 35th minute. We should have still at least done better. We should have done something about it. We should have not lost the game. All right, first and foremost, we lost the game because Lingard played that pass. We were drawing the game, and we were going to draw that game. And secondly, I've just dug up a few statistics to help us understand what happens when you go one man down. The overall average in footballing history, the average team loss that goes down by one man is 59%. So 59% of the teams lose. Average team that draws is 23%. 23% of the teams draw. So that it basically leads only 18% of the teams that actually manage to win. And most of them win after that one person down, the one person getting red carded is usually around the closing end of the game. Just letting you know. The second thing that I want to point out in this regards, see, there are quite a few amazing YouTubers out there, and I would like to shout out United People's TV, because they put in the effort to bring out a stat where 32 games played, last two seasons of the Champions League, 32 games, that means 32 teams went down by one man in the last two seasons. 18 of them lost. Around 8 to 10, I can't remember, but it was between 8 to 10, drew. And only the few rest remaining managed to win. If you guys can do quick math, I don't know how much that is. It's not much. And rest of them, again, the ones that won, most of them won because the one man down happened post the 80th minute mark. All I'm saying is that you're away from home. You are playing against passionate, charged up team that knows they're not going to win, and they were not going to win the game around the 30th minute mark. They saw an opportunity, they pushed us back. So the only thing that I want to say is that, guys, there are two teams that play the game, and sometimes the intensity just takes the best of it, and the mistakes that we made, the player specific mistake that we made, we were drawing the game, dude. Chelsea drew 1-1. Everyone is praising Conte. They drew, right? Even we were drawing the game. They drew against Liverpool. We were also drawing the game. That's all I want to say about this. Yes, go ahead, Ahmed.
Look, I completely agree. I'm going to be like sympathetic towards Oli, because he went for the back five in hindsight. If you put yourself in his shoes, you would have done that maybe as well. So, but I think why people do jump on the Oli hate bandwagon is because his decision making in the Europa League final, he was under pressure, all right, and the substitutes, they didn't work, all right. He waited like 100 minutes for the first substitution, and this time, and against Young Boys, let me just explain. I think he subbed off Bruno for Matic and brought on Lingard for Ronaldo. And then, you're expecting them to be compact and see the game through. And then in the 90th minute, he takes Fred off for Martial. I don't know how that actually makes. Maybe he was going in for the victory, but you bring on Lingard. Obviously, he brought him on for his energy, do the press and all. But then you bring in Martial over your one. Fred wasn't that bad in that game. He was, putting in tackles. He was clearing the ball. He was putting in a good shift. And then you take off our probably best defensive midfielder that day for Martial. I don't get, and that is why I think people do criticize his in-game management when he's under pressure.
Anyone wants to add to that?
Yeah, I will.
You made some good points, Ahmed. You really made some good points.
Yeah, they were good. They were good points. I will admit. The only thing I will go to is I'm going to go back to the Europa League final, and I think I've talked about this before on here. There was nobody on that bench that day that could change the team. Nobody. We had Donny on the bench, and he wasn't that good last season. He was
Didn't get any game time last season.
Exactly, that's what I mean. So he wasn't the person that could come off the bench. Really, people are saying Ahmed, he was too young. Somebody. I had this argument with somebody earlier on. He was going Matter is too slow. He shouldn't have even signed a new contract. So there was nobody on that bench in that Europa League final that could change the game. Nobody. Martial was injured, weren't he? But there was just nobody. And this is what I said a few weeks ago. This season now, we have players that can come off the bench. When everybody's fit, we could have a bench of, say, Cavani, Pogba, Donny, Lingard, Martial, even though I don't like him, Greenwood, and also Lindelof. We have a strong bench where if someone gets injured, somebody gets red carded, somebody's just playing shit, we can take them off and we can bring on somebody who is decent enough to come on and change the game. Whereas the Europa League final, we had nobody. Yes, we had Donny, we had Ahmed, we had, I'm not saying Matt because I still think he's slow. Ahmed did well against AC Milan, yes. But could he change the game in the Champions League final? Europa League final? Probably not. Could Donny? No, probably not. So the only thing I will say about that Europa League final is I don't think Rashford is my favourite player. I don't think Rashford should have started.
He had the shittiest game I've ever seen him have. Rashford was horrendous.
And I think I would have brought him on. However, sorry, Ahmed, there was only 3 players that did turn up that day. That was Luke Shaw, McTominay and Cavani. McTominay was our best player that day. Cavani was fantastic. Shaw was fantastic. The rest, Bruno, Pogba, the defence is terrible. And I've noticed this season, people keep raving about Wan-Bissaka, but his tackling, I can't argue. I mean, obviously the one he did the other day, obviously that's debate. Obviously that is, but obviously there's no point in arguing it because it was shit. What Wan-Bissaka's done this season is he seems to have gone backwards, not backwards on the pitch, but backwards in his performance, because his passing this season has been absolutely atrocious. And I actually don't know if I would start playing Dalot more. The problem is Dalot is not a tackler like Wan-Bissaka. He's more of an attacker, and that's the problem. No. Wan-Bissaka needs to sort his passing out, otherwise he's going to get took off.
No, that's something very interesting, David. We'll probably touch on it a little later because that's a very interesting, valid point. Ahmed, you wanted to say something? Then Sam, we'll go into you.
I'm good.
All right. Sam, anything you would like to add before we move on to the next one?
No, I mean, I agree exactly with what Mohammed said about the in-game decisions. It's just like Ole he set out to do something. I'm going to be talking about the Champions League game. He set out to do something and then changed it in the 90th minute, which didn't make any sense at all. So I think this is just why people are just getting pissed off, and that's why I got pissed off on the night. And yeah, it was just poor tactics in my opinion.
I'll agree with that. There's nothing that I can't complain about.
All right.